Yeah.
Looking expensive, sir.
Well, I'm trying, this is a very lucrative fight for me, so.
Looking expensive. Listen, this in a nutshell, what are you going to do to old Josh over there?
I'm going to knock him out. What do I always say? This is Paul Semtex Daley, 39 wins, 32 knockouts. I'm not going to try and dress it up to be what it isn't. I'm not going out there to try and take him down, trying to submit him. I'm going to go out there, do what I do, be swinging. One will land and he'll be going to sleep.
Is he past his best though? Should this fight have happened when he was a little bit better than he is today?
Yeah, most definitely. I probably fought him when he was at his best, and I was at my most. I wasn't very knowledgeable. I was fighting, I was winning some big fights, but I didn't really understand the game, even as much as the press and understanding everything that goes with the sport. That still sort of affects everything that I do in preparation for this fight, believe it or not. I know I have to be wary of his wrestling. He knows that he has to be wary of my striking, but there are other factors that I see now. We're having this interaction face to face that I pick up on that maybe I wouldn't have if I was that younger kid. So I'm ready to go. I know I've got this fight. It's tucked away. I'm going to knock him out, and that's going to be it.
Did Josh effectively cost you a bigger paycheck? I mean, obviously you said you matured, and when you look back on it, you could have probably been a bigger fighter if it weren't for that. Has he cost you money?
A lot. I would hate to speculate, but I would say a lot of money, maybe millions of dollars. I was doing very well where I was, co-main eventing shows, picking up fight of the knockout of the night bonuses, and fighting in big fights like against Josh. And there was no Conor McGregor back then. I was I was a bit brash. I spoke my mind. I did. I was. Everyone was behind me. I was getting a lot of press, and who knows what would happen. But we're here now. It's payback time. I'm getting paid back, and so I'm happy.
Any regrets?
I don't like to regret. I'm a true believer that everything happens for a reason, and we're back here. The main thing is for me is I didn't lose faith in myself. If I'd have lost faith in myself, I wouldn't be here right now, and that would have been regrettable had I been, doing something else, sat at home, not pursuing what I know I can do, and not fulfilling my true potential. And this here, it's great to get the Josh Koscheck co-main event, but I can go to even greater things than this. And once this fight's out of the way, I'm going to carry on my journey and straight to the top.
Before we look forward, what was the darkest moment when you sat down and said to yourself, "What the hell have I done?"
There's a lot. It wasn't so much just an incident. It's just when you look back to where he was, the struggles that I've had to make, maybe missing a direct debit here and there. Is this fight game gonna pay off for me? Having to borrow money, fighting on really small shows, getting paid for what I know I should be getting paid more for. There was. I wouldn't say they were dark, but there were moments where I had to be strong. Not a weaker man, a lesser man would have broke, but I had to stay strong, and I'm very happy that I was able to do that.
You mentioned that the belt is the primary objective. What do you make of the current champion, Andre? That's the one.
Yeah, the Russian guy. He's good. I was one of a few people when we did some interviews over at the fight that picked him to win. He's a wily guy, does some awkward things. He's tough, he's got that Russian grit, and I knew he was going to beat Douglas Lima. I think Ben Henderson's a more interesting fight, but again, I'm going to pick the Russian to win, and we'll see what happens after that. But I'll pick the Russian to win. I think he's going to beat Ben Henderson.
How soon before you meet him then?
Hopefully by the end of the year. If not, then early in 2017, I'm going to get my shot. I will be champion. I've been watching this guy a long time, so I know him. I know him.
Our camera went over like a lot of your opponents just then. Excuse me at home viewers. Listen, if the year goes perfectly for Paul Daley, how does it go? Tell me how that picture looks.
Well, I'm going to keep on winning. I'm going to keep doing things that I'm doing away from camera, spending time with my family, developing my business ambitions and aspirations, keeping my gym running, and just really, I want to be like beyond this. I just want to be a well-rounded individual, and I'm aware that people, I never set out to be a role model, but I'm aware now that eyes are on me. So I'm aware that I need to be someone that can be a guide for people. Maybe not follow in my footsteps, but he did it this way. He never lost faith. He's doing this, he's doing that. It gives a lot of people are lost out there. I just want to give people direction.
You mentioned Steve gave you a lifeline, showed faith in you. You're obviously here on Bellator. I'm not going to, disrespect what they've done for you, and I know you wouldn't do either, but I know this question has to be asked. You ever going to ever fight on UFC again? And should Dana have you had a private conversation with him since?
I've never had a private conversation with Dana. I'm sure, when he sees what I'm about to do here and over the period of my contract that I have with Bellator, that he will be interested in me. I'm about 33 years old, but I've got time to go back to the other promotion should things happen that way. But right now I don't see it happen. I'm happy with Bellator. They look after me really well. They put me in this main event of my last fight. They allow me to kickbox, and I feel like they value me. When you're over in an organization such as the UFC, you can get lost in your Ronda Rouseys, you can get lost in your Conor McGregors, and you just sort of fit in. Here, I'm someone that can add something to the promotion, so I'm valued.
Thanks for your time. And just before you go, a word on Conor McGregor and that whole phenomena that he is. I mean, obviously he dresses it up in a way that makes it look better than it is, but there's no two ways about it. The boy's doing well. Yeah,
he's doing very well, collecting $1 million paychecks, and that's just what we know about. I've met the guy. He was very respectful, and this is before he really blew up. I think he was 2 or 3 fights in at the UFC. He's very respectful. He came over and said hello. I've not got a bad word to say about him.
Did he underestimate Diaz?
Most definitely. I don't think he has. I don't think that I think Diaz is just a bad fight for him. And even in the rematch, I like the guy, and I like Conor, but I just think the matchup's just bad for him, and maybe he should have took another fight.
Thanks for your time, bro. Appreciate that.